So I want you to imagine walking into a highly prestigious, centuries-old art museum.
Setting the scene. I like it.
Right, so the architecture is breathtaking, the paintings are priceless, but, there are velvet ropes everywhere.
Yeah, you have to whisper.
Exactly. You have to whisper. You absolutely cannot touch anything. But now imagine walking out the back door of that exact museum and immediately stepping into this neon-lit, music-pumping driving range. Like everyone is laughing, they're missing the ball half the time, and just having the absolute time of their lives.
That is quite the jarring split screen.
It really is. But that split screen, that is exactly what is happening to the sport of golf right now. So welcome to the deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. As seasoned golf journalists who have, spent years walking the fairways and sitting in media tents, we are just thrilled to have you with us today. We're going to explore this massive, honestly unprecedented disruption happening in the sport we love.
It really is a fascinating paradox. I mean, the landscape is shifting so rapidly beneath the feet of the traditional golf establishment, specifically the PGA Tour, that the old rule books are basically being rewritten in real time.
Oh, totally. They're ripping the rule books up.
Right. We're looking at this fundamental divide between the prestige of legacy competition and the pure entertainment value of modern content creation.
And that shifting landscape is exactly why we've pulled together a massive stack of sources to unpack for you today.
We've got a lot to get through.
We really do. We're pulling viewership analytics from Nielsen and Awful Announcing, diving into some incredible industry analysis from the Business of Golf and My Golf Spy.
Great publications, by the way.
Oh, the best. Plus, we're looking at demographic reports from OWGR Sport. And this is my favorite part, surfacing some highly passionate, completely unfiltered debates straight from the Reddit golf community.
It's a really comprehensive stack. And, all of these sources basically point to one undeniable theme, which is fragmentation.
Fragmentation.
Yeah. Right. The golf audience is splitting right down the middle, and the economics of the sport are just following suit.
And that fragmentation brings us to the central question we're setting out to answer for you today. With the rise of, creator-driven golf content, tech-infused competitive formats, and rapidly shifting demographics, what exactly does the future of global professional golf look like?
It's the billion-dollar question.
Yeah.
But to understand that future, we first have to look at the incredibly confusing reality of the present.
It is super confusing right now.
It really is. There is this massive structural disconnect between who is actually playing the game of golf right now and who is watching traditional golf broadcasts on television.
Yeah, the numbers presented in our sources are just wild. Golf participation is absolutely booming, through the roof. But traditional TV viewership is flashing red.
Flashing bright red.
Exactly. I remember sitting in the media tent at the PGA Championship a few years ago, and it was hushed, serious, filled with reporters dissecting swing mechanics.
Very analytical.
Right. But if you walk past a Topgolf on a Friday night, the energy is completely different. It's loud, it's chaotic. And the data from the 2024 National Golf Foundation report perfectly captures that divide.
Yeah, let's break down that NGF data, because the mechanisms behind these numbers, they tell the real story. We have a record 47.2 million Americans playing golf right now.
47.2 million. That is a staggering figure.
It's massive. But here is the crucial detail. 19.1 million of those people are participating exclusively in what the industry calls off-course activities.
Oh, wow. So almost 20 million.
Exactly. We're talking about entertainment venues like Topgolf or, high-tech indoor simulators at local sports bars.
So you essentially have nearly 20 million people swinging golf clubs, buying into the culture of the sport, but they aren't setting foot on a traditional 18-hole grass course.
Right. And more importantly, they aren't tuning into traditional broadcasts. While participation is at record highs, traditional PGA Tour TV ratings are really struggling to capture this new audience.
They just aren't converting them at all.
Not at all. By early 2025, 10 out of 13 final round broadcasts saw a decline compared to their 2023 numbers.
Ouch.
Yeah. Mid-tier events, like the Sanderson Farms Championship, are drawing fewer than 900,000 viewers.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because watching a traditional PGA Tour broadcast really does feel like visiting that prestigious art museum I mentioned earlier.
The Velvet Ropes.
Yes. It's beautiful, it's historic, but it demands 4 hours of your silent attention. If young people aren't watching the PGA Tour on Sunday afternoons despite actively swinging clubs at simulators, why is traditional television failing to convert them?
Well, we're looking at a demographic cliff.
Yeah.
The median age of a Golf Channel viewer is 64 years old.
Wow, 64.
Yeah. And when you look at the mechanics of linear TV broadcast, it is heavily reliant on commercial breaks, really slow pacing, and a presumption that the viewer has a deep pre-existing reverence for the history of the tournament.
Which a lot of young people just don't have.
Exactly. If we connect this to the bigger picture, younger fans fundamentally treat sports as a multi-screen, on-demand experience. They are consuming highlights on TikTok and Instagram. They want to watch what they want when they want.
Which perfectly explains why Livy Golf, the Saudi-backed league, has aggressively targeted that specific gap.
They saw the opening and went for it.
They really did. According to the OWGR sport demographics from our sources, 71% of Levy's audience is aged 18 to 34.
That's a huge flip from the Golf Channel.
It's night and day. They've drawn that crowd by focusing on fast-paced, digital-first broadcasts on platforms like YouTube and the CW. Plus, they utilize shotgun starts to condense the viewing window.
That's true. But even LIV is still essentially a competition-first product. The massive insight from our industry sources is that the missing young demographic hasn't abandoned long-form golf content at all.
Right, they just moved.
Exactly. They simply migrated to YouTube. They're trading the competition-first broadcasts of professional tours for personality-first entertainment.
It's a totally different flavor of the sport. It's like replacing the sterile environment of a professional tournament with the vibe of a local muni course.
Where you're just joking around with friends?
Yeah, maybe playing music from a cart, having a few drinks. It's relatable.
Absolutely. The traditional PGA Tour broadcast assumes the viewer cares primarily about who wins and how they win. It's 72-hole stroke play. It's clinical.
Very clinical.
But on YouTube, creators use narrative gamification to artificially manufacture stakes. They create these quest-based series.
Oh, like Rick Shields.
Yes. Rick Shields has a massively popular series called Break 75. The entire tension of a 40-minute video isn't about beating a field of 150 pros. It's simply whether he can shoot under 75 on a tough course.
Or look at Bryson DeChambeau's Breaking 50 series.
That's another perfect example.
He plays a two-man scramble with celebrity guests trying to shoot a virtually impossible score, and it makes every single shot feel like life or death.
It really does. The stakes are instantly understandable to anyone who has ever picked up a club.
Exactly. You don't need to know the FedEx Cup standings to understand the drama of needing a birdie on the 18th hole to break a score.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
And then you have the road trip lifestyle format.
Yeah.
Channels like No Laying Up produce series like Tourist Sauce and Strapped.
Those are so good.
They are. And these aren't just about the scorecard. They focus on the travel logistics, the local food, the intricacies of golf course architecture, and honestly, most importantly, the group banter.
It's a vibe-centric product.
It sells the camaraderie of golf rather than just the athletic achievement.
We also have to highlight the production evolution here, because I think people who don't watch YouTube golf assume it's just, guys filming on shaky cell phones.
Oh, it is far from that.
It's so far from that. These creators are mimicking and in some ways improving upon professional broadcasts.
You really are.
They are using professional editing suites like Premiere Pro, integrating shot tracer technology so you can actually see the ball flight against the sky.
The drone footage is incredible too.
Yes, utilizing stunning drone flyovers for whole previews and keeping everyone mic'd up. That audio is crucial.
It changes everything.
Hearing every joke, every exasperated groan after a bad shot, it builds this incredibly deep parasocial relationship with the viewers. You feel like you are physically sitting in the golf cart with them.
And that parasocial element is the core engine of their retention.
Yeah.
You aren't watching a distant, stoic athlete shielded by a PR team.
Right.
You are watching a relatable personality deal with the exact same frustrating swing flaws that you have on the weekend.
But hold on, because I went deep into the Reddit golf community for this deep dive, and the traditionalist pushback is fierce.
Oh, I bet. The purists are not happy.
Not at all. Not everyone loves this shift. The purists argue that YouTube golf, with its unlimited mulligans, its manufactured drama, and its frat house energy, is a mockery of the sport's actual discipline.
That's a very common sentiment on the forums.
Yeah. In fact, these traditionalists are begging for a totally different solution to make the pro game interesting again. They want strict equipment regulation.
The bifurcation argument.
Exactly. They are advocating for the bifurcation of equipment, meaning pros play with different gear than amateurs. roll back the golf ball by 10%, and significantly reduce clubhead size.
Make it harder for the best players in the world.
Right. The argument is that forcing pros to hit smaller sweet spots would bring pure shot-making skill back to the forefront. And they argue that making the broadcast inherently more compelling than watching a YouTube creator hit a trick shot is the only way to save the pro game.
The desire to see the absolute pinnacle of human skill, unassisted by massive technological advantages in the equipment, is basically the bedrock of professional sports.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I understand why traditionalists want the broadcast to focus on the purity of the strike. But to counter that Reddit argument, the industry analysts in our sources point to the gateway drug theory.
The gateway drug theory.
Yeah. For millions of Gen Z viewers, the relatable, somewhat slapstick banter of YouTube creators is exactly what pulls them into the ecosystem in the first place.
I have to push back on that, though. Does watching a YouTube creator shotgun a beer or play a scramble with a frying pan actually translate to a teenager dedicating hundreds of hours on a driving range to fix an out-to-in swing path?
That's the big debate.
Right. Or does it just translate to them buying a couple of drinks at a simulator and calling it a day?
Sure.
The Reddit purists would argue the latter doesn't actually grow the soul of the game.
It's a fair challenge.
Yeah.
But look at the purchasing data from the equipment manufacturers. The barrier to entry for golf has historically been intimidation.
It's terrifying for beginners.
It's a hard game with strict rules, played at exclusive clubs. YouTube shatters that intimidation. A teenager might start by watching a funny scramble video, but the algorithm then feeds them a course vlog, then an equipment review.
And suddenly they're hooked.
Exactly. Suddenly they are buying entry-level clubs, booking public tee times, and becoming lifelong course-playing golfers. The gateway drug theory works because it changes the culture of entry from exclusionary to inviting. They might eventually become the exact traditionalists who care about ball rollbacks, but they never would have entered the funnel without that YouTube entry point.
That transition from entertainment to actual consumer spending brings us to the most disruptive part of our source material.
Oh, money.
The money. The immense engagement of these YouTube formats isn't just winning a culture war, it is completely rewriting the financial economics of professional golf. It is creating prize pools that rival the actual tours.
The financial migration is staggering when you look at the underlying mechanisms of how this content is monetized.
Let's talk about the Internet Invitational. This was an event created by Barstool Sports and the Bob Does Sports channel.
That was huge.
They put up a $1.7 million purse for 48 creators. Think about that number. That event generated 21 million cumulative views across its episodes.
21 million.
Yeah, and to put that in perspective, the 2025 Masters, the single most prestigious tournament in the world, peaked at 12.7 million viewers on Sunday television.
A television executive would immediately argue that those numbers aren't perfectly comparable, though.
Because it's live versus on demand?
Exactly. The Masters is a live, simultaneous audience captured in a tight 4-hour window, whereas the 21 million YouTube views are cumulative over weeks or months.
That's true.
But from a business perspective, that distinction is exactly what makes the YouTube model so financially dominant.
So what does this all mean? Think about it like this. Traditional TV rights are like renting an apartment.
Okay, I like this analogy.
Right. The value of that live broadcast evaporates the exact second the tournament ends. Nobody's tuning in on a random Tuesday in November to rewatch the John Deere Classic from July.
Definitely not.
But a YouTube video is like owning real estate. It sits in a digital library, constantly being served to near viewers by the algorithm, generating perpetual AdSense revenue for years. Every time someone clicks it, the creator gets paid a royalty.
What's fascinating here is the dilemma this creates for actual tour pros who are watching this money flow.
They have to be seeing it.
Oh, they see it. Take Bryce's DeChambeau. He is the ultimate case study in our sources. He treated his channel like a tech startup.
He really did.
He invested $1 million of his own capital into production, and he brilliantly used YouTube Shorts, which are tiny algorithm-friendly clips, to drive traffic to his highly produced long-form videos.
And it worked. Following his U.S. Open win, he experienced what the analytics call the Bryson bump. His channel gained 17.4 million views in June 2024 alone.
Just staggering numbers for a single player.
But the tension there is that there are only 24 hours in a day. You can't be a full-time professional athlete and a full-time video editor.
No, you can't. Furthermore, they have to navigate a massive structural wall which is media broadcast rights.
Ah, right. The PGA Tour owns the footage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A PGA Tour player cannot simply take a camera out and vlog their Sunday round. The tour's business model relies on selling exclusive broadcast windows to networks like CBS and NBC.
Right. If a player streams their own tournament footage, they dilute a multi-billion-dollar TV contract.
Precisely. That strict restriction forces pros to create entirely new, non-competitive content off the course to feed their personal channels. They basically have to become entertainers on their days off.
And the sponsors are following those eyeballs with terrifying speed. Apparel brands like Malbon and Bad Birdie, and even the legacy equipment giants like Titleist and TaylorMade are heavily funding these creators now.
They know where the youth is.
Yeah. The YouTube channel Good Good, which has roughly 2 million subscribers, secured a $45 million venture capital raise.
$45 million.
When I first read that in the sources, I couldn't understand why a VC firm would give $45 million to guys playing scramble golf.
Because the VC firm isn't buying a golf swing, they're buying an incubated customer base.
Right.
Customer acquisition cost, or CAC, in the golf equipment industry is notoriously high. Traditional brands spend fortunes on TV commercials just to convince you to buy a driver.
Millions on ad buys.
Exactly. But Good has a customer acquisition cost of essentially zero. Their fans voluntarily watch their 40-minute videos, which are effectively highly entertaining commercials for their own branded apparel and putters.
So institutional investors are betting tens of millions of dollars on that direct-to-consumer pipeline.
Exactly.
With audiences and sponsor dollars migrating to these digital platforms, the traditional golf establishment realizes they are at a critical juncture. They have to adapt, or they face slow demographic irrelevance. The empire is trying to strike back.
They definitely are. The PGA Tour is actively attempting to capture this digital magic. Enter the Creator Classic.
Oh, man, the Creator Classic.
Yeah. This debuted at the 2024 Tour Championship at Eastlake. The tour essentially invited a roster of massive YouTube golfers to play a 9-hole event on the Wednesday before the pros teed off.
And it was broadcast digitally and won by a creator named Luke Kwan.
Right, and the tour is doubling down. In 2025, they are expanding the Creator Classic to 3 events, prior to the Players' Championship, the Truist Championship, and the Tour Championship.
They're bringing in heavy hitters to produce it, too. They've partnered with Chad Mumm's Pro Shop Studios, which is the team behind the highly successful Netflix documentary series Full Swing.
They want that premium, narrative-driven polish.
They do. On top of that, you have the launch of TGL. This is the tech-infused indoor league spearheaded by Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy.
That one is a fascinating hybrid.
It really is. They are attempting to blend primetime stadium entertainment with high-end simulator technology. Players hit into a massive screen for long shots and then transition to a dynamic, shape-shifting green for short game.
And they are even using creator-in-residence programs to bring digital influencers into the venue to engage younger, local fan bases.
It's a direct attempt to merge the prestige of the tour with the fast pacing of simulator golf.
But according to the fan feedback in our sources, there are some serious growing pains here. Traditional networks are finding it incredibly hard to replicate that organic YouTube magic.
Yeah, if you look at the Reddit threads during the first Creator Classic, fans complained that it felt jarringly stiff.
Very stiff.
There were traditional hushed announcers in the booth, and it suffered from the incredibly slow pacing of a live golf broadcast.
Right, because the audience for this content is used to tightly edited videos where all the dead time, the walking between shots, the endless reading of putts is left on the cutting room floor.
It highlights a severe culture clash. Traditional broadcast golf is highly controlled and pristine. It's designed not to offend the title sponsors.
Yeah, and YouTube golf is raw, it's unfiltered, and it relies on the authentic, sometimes messy personalities of the players.
Exactly. When a traditional network tries to broadcast creators, their instinct is to polish it. But the polish is exactly what the audience is running away from.
That's spot on.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Can a massive, highly regulated corporate entity like the PGA Tour actually manufacture this authentic energy?
It's a tough ask.
I mean, when you take a YouTube creator who is famous for cursing after a slice drive and throwing clubs, and you put a slick corporate PGA Tour wrapper around them, doesn't it strip away the exact vulnerability and realness that made the audience tune into their channel in the first place?
It feels like trying to put lightning in a branded sponsored bottle.
Perfectly said.
And this raises an important question about where this massive disruption ultimately ends up. Based on the industry analysis we've reviewed, there are essentially three possible futures for global golf media.
Okay, let's hear them.
The first is absorption. This is the scenario where the PGA Tour or major broadcasters use their massive capital to just buy up the leading creator channels and integrate them into the broadcast.
The risk there, as we just pointed out, is that corporate oversight completely sanitizes the product.
Right, ruining the authenticity that made the asset valuable in the first place.
They buy the cool thing and instantly make it uncool.
Exactly the risk.
What's the second one?
The second scenario is coexistence. In this future, the PGA Tour accepts its demographic reality. It continues to serve the affluent 55-plus crowd with prestige live events, catering to luxury car and financial service sponsors.
And the creators take the youth.
Exactly. Meanwhile, the YouTube ecosystem serves the younger demographic, driving apparel and entry-level equipment sales. They run on parallel tracks, functioning as two entirely different sports that just happen to use the same equipment.
Wow. And the third scenario, the one that keeps TV executives awake at night.
The third is total displacement.
Total displacement.
Yeah. YouTube creator golf continues to grow exponentially, capturing all the younger demographics. Linear TV ratings for traditional tours collapse further as their core audience ages out.
Oh, man.
Eventually, traditional professional tournaments become nothing more than content creation backdrops for digital distribution. The live, 4-hour broadcast essentially dies, replaced entirely by highly edited, on-demand entertainment packages pushed out days later.
Wow. Total displacement. So to summarize everything we've dug into today, for you, the listener, golf is no longer a monolithic one-size-fits-all broadcast product.
The velvet ropes of the art museum are officially coming down.
They really are. The sport is fragmenting into two distinct parallel ecosystems. On one side, you have the traditional live broadcasts focused on the grueling discipline, shot-making meritocracy, and prestige of elite competition.
And on the other side, you have creator-led, on-demand digital content, driven entirely by relatable personalities, gamification, and raw entertainment value.
Both ecosystems currently boast sustainable economics, but they are playing by completely different sets of rules, monetizing in totally different ways, and aiming at entirely different generations of fans.
It's a wild time for the sport.
Which leaves you with one final provocative thought to mull over before your next tee time.
Let's hear it.
If the financial return on investment, the massive venture capital sponsor dollars, and the sheer audience reach of starting a YouTube channel continues to absolutely dwarf the meager earnings of grinding it out on the developmental mini-tours, will the next generational junior golfer even bother trying to earn a PGA Tour card?
Oh, that's a good question.
Right. Or will they just buy a high-end camera, hire a brilliant video editor, and bypass the traditional professional establishment entirely?
It's a structural question that could honestly redefine the meaning of professional golf over the next decade.
It really is. So, are you heading to the art museum or the neon driving range? If you enjoy this kind of content, please subscribe to our channel. It really helps us continue creating and delivering content like this for you in the future.